Your identity is sort of a weird thing. I have no clue. Because
I think it's pretty normal. Like, you would automatically try to find something that you are familiar with in like an unfamiliar place.
Yeah.
You know, when you can be viewed as like the outsider, you're like, well, I'm gonna be the outsider then. Like, I'm gonna try to find, keep bits of my own culture.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess. That's such a weird thing though, because, I left the States when I was 7. So I'd been in Dubai, but then, okay, I guess I was still surrounded by sort of glimpses of Western culture. I was fortunate enough to meet, I had can I call them my extended family? One of my first cousins, got married to a Lebanese man, and so I have extended relatives, quote unquote, through him. So, and then family met a lot of Arab people who, like, I got to integrate with different cultures a lot, which made me less judgmental. Yeah. So I do think it's a bit odd that I would still so strongly reject anything that wasn't Western for so long.
Well, do you think it might be because you integrated with like so many different cultures that you want to keep a bit of your own?
Well, that's the thing, right? I say this all the time now, like, what is mine? I do struggle to grasp that entirely. I now just position things as I like what I like,
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I think it took me like a really long time to be like, okay, fine, I'm mixed race. Like, sometimes I think about it and I'm still like, oh, right, yeah, I'm half Chinese and half Italian. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just because, obviously we come from like very different standpoints and very different perspectives, but it's quite a similar experience. Like, you don't really have one thing you can connect to. You have kind of like multiple connections to different places. Yeah. And I think obviously language is like a huge part of it. 'Cause I think why I struggled the most in Italy was because like my language wasn't good enough. Like, I couldn't converse enough with like the people there, and I get so panicked when I had to speak Italian, because like when you don't speak it perfectly, then you're
that's
still the outsider. Yeah, and also like you're still the outsider. Yeah. Like, you're still not fully integrated. And then so I just kept like, I'm like, well, if I don't do it, then I can't be bad at it. Obviously, that's like the wrong logic. Right. Yeah, but yeah, that was really weird. Yeah.
I feel you. I never did learn Arabic. I get mad at myself sometimes when I think about how like reluctant I was to do things when I was younger, because being 7, 8, 9 years old, that would have been the perfect time to learn Arabic,
to pick up a new language.
Yeah, and I was just lazy, and because I didn't have to, I didn't, and I'm kind of mad. I should have learned Arabic. That is my ultimate conclusion with all of this. I should have learned how to speak Arabic. I had 3 years to do it. So.
Yeah, okay, well, now you're saying that someone who was in Italy for 4 years and can barely string a sentence together now.
Different. I was like, I was still brain sponge age, you were in 9th grade. That's kind of different.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the weird thing is, like, I was actually not bad at Italian. Like, I'm not bad at it, but like, my first year, I just like didn't want to speak it because I was just really rusty with it. And then when I went to an international school, or I suppose went back to an international school, I was surrounded with like English speaking people. And I was like, I'm just going to pretend I'm not in Italy, which is it's a horrible mindset. Yeah. And then I had this like, I don't know, this really defensive idea, because I did not have a good experience for my first year. But obviously that's also due, like, I do admit it's also due to the fact that I made myself the outsider. Like, I was like, no, not integrating into part of this. Like, I think it's kind of like what you were saying. Like, if it's not something I'm familiar with, I rejected it, which I wasn't expecting, because I'm half Italian.
Right.
Just putting that out there again. Yeah. And yeah, so when I went back to international school, I just like got so comfortable. I just pretty much only spoke English. And now the only time that I do speak Italian is when I'm drunk. And that's like a thing. And I swear, it's like an ongoing thing with like my friends and I that like, I know I should stop drinking when I just start speaking Italian. I'm like, yep, it's time. I need to stop drinking now.
I've got a friend that speaks Khmer, and whenever he got drunk, he always spoke it with his mom, but whenever he got drunk, he'd forget how to speak English. And he would just only speak Khmer. And he would be screaming out in public at the top of his lungs things in Khmer, talking about people or about things, and no one have a clue what he was saying. It's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Like, also, my other friend, she learned Korean for like 3 years. And so she only speaks Korean when she's drunk. Like, she would just start speaking Korean, and like, she never uses it in normal life. Like, and I never speak Italian until I'm drunk. And yeah, it's so weird. Like, I guess it's something to do with like inhibition. Wait, is that even the right word?
Inhibition? No. For that specific thing?
No. That's not the right word. I don't even know what that word means, actually. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. Used it in the wrong context. You see what I mean? And then here's the thing. I'm not that great with Chinese. My Chinese has like slipped and almost fallen into this deep, just, this metaphor is not going anywhere, but you know what I mean. It started sucking. And my Italian, obviously, as I've been saying this whole time, is not great. And now my English is just like, I don't even know what's happening with like,
Just because you can claim to speak 2.5 languages, you get a pass on any grammar mistakes. Just like
you think the 2.5 means one is English, one's Chinese, and half of it's Italian, but actually no, it's like a blend of everything. Bits and pieces added together makes 2.5.
That's really funny. In that case, I speak 1 language.
Wow, that's rough. No, like, just your usual American, your average
just speaking American over here, you know?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, oh wow, my hat fell. Oh no. No, like, these have ended up being very interesting topics of discussion. I should let people come up with ideas more often. I feel like I suck at this.
Yeah, because you're not always the smartest.
I don't think I'm ever the smart. When did you get this idea? 1A in 7th grade, and all of a sudden...
I could have gotten 100.
On a 7th grade U.S. multiple choice math test. Like, that's like Michael Phelps saying he could have swam, like, he could have beat a bunch of freaking high schoolers in a 50-meter swimming, like, race. Like, that's not something to brag about, you know? That's just him stating the obvious. No offense.
No,
actually, full offense to the American education system. I didn't want to use a calculator on that test, and I begged my teacher to not let, like, that I could just do it by hand. I begged him. I was like, please don't give me a calculator. I don't want to use one. It'll be too easy. And he refused to let me take any of those without a calculator. How dumb is that?
It is just too easy.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
all
I'm
of
sorry.
the tests here are multiple
I'll stop
choice.
teasing.
Like, what do you want? Like, how dumb is that?
Okay, now, but that just gives me, like, PTSD from, like, fucking IB.
Let's talk about IB elitism. Because...
There is an IB elitism? Is there?
What do you mean, is there? Oh my... Like, we have a whole Instagram account dedicated to the IB. There's, like, 70,000 followers globally. Like...
Oh, you mean like in general? Like, I thought you meant like elitism within the IB. Because I was about to say, like, what do you mean I got bullied for dropping to math studies? Like, what do you mean?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean IB people being elitist. We can get into elitism within the IB later, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously. I think I'm one of the elitists.
No, absolutely. I'm on board with that. Like, I will freaking, excuse my French, I will on every single other form of education out there that isn't the IB.
Yeah, seriously.
A-levels,
I would
GCSEs,
always find some fault in it.
Although GCSEs are pretty hard, I'll give them their credit. APs.
Okay, AP doesn't even need to be mentioned. People who complain that AP is hard, I'm just like, sure, honey, sure it was.
To my mostly
also,
American audience.
Oh shit. Forgot about that. Guys, don't hate me. I am an ignorant person who speaks 2.5 languages if you like fucking throw them all together. Yeah, no. Yeah, and also A levels. I know A levels is hard, but you take 3 subjects. I mean, how hard could that be?
Yeah.
Wow, I am sounding so condescending right now.
IB elitism, it's just like once it starts, it just
does that to you.
It goes
does
all
that
the way.
to you.
I took 6 courses over the same 2 years, and my exams got progressively difficult. Yeah, and TOK.
And I had to write an extended essay. And CAS and community service.
You know how many?
Yeah.
Like 20 plus page papers I've done over the course of the DP? I have at least 4 across the subjects. Well, the extended essay, when double spaced, mine ended up being 27 pages, not including my appendix.
I don't remember. Wait, how much did you get for extended essay?
Oh,
You can cut this bit out.
No, this is staying in.
What the fuck?
I'm flexing that hard. My business EE got an A.
What the fuck?
Suck it.
Oh my god.
Suck it. That IA was fantastic. I thought it was terrible when I was writing it, and then when I finished, I was like, this is the best piece of work I've ever made in my life. It was so good.
Oh my god.
It was so good.
No, I'm...
And it was all theoretical. Okay. I had a couple concrete statistics to work off of, but it was about Google, and Google doesn't publish a lot of their stuff. So the bulk of the paper was theoretical.
You see what I mean? Like, this is why we have IB elitism, you know what I mean? Like, I would flex that shit. I'll be like, oh, no, we don't get things that we need to learn and memorize. We learn things and apply those knowledge on new individual questions. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you guys did AP history? Well, I did, history high levels, so...
Oh, your exam was a multiple choice exam? Sorry, honey.
Oof.
All of mine were
Can't relate.
Long answer essays in 3 hours. Like, get out of here. No, IB history is a monster. I'm glad I didn't take that.
Yeah. Now it's my turn to flex. Yeah. I got a 7.
In what?
History high.
Oh, damn.
Wait, did I not tell you that?
You may have, but was that your only 7?
Most... No. How rude.
I only got 1, so...
You only got 1 7?
They gave me... Okay. This is why the IB is weird. They give me an A on my business extended essay. All throughout the business course, I had only ever gotten 1 6. 1. In my entire business career. All of my 7s were mid to high 7s. I had only ever gotten 1 6, and they gave me a 6.
Holy shit. But is it because your your teacher predicted you 7?
She did. Fair enough. It was a good prediction.
But yeah, exactly. But that's the thing with this year. Well, last year at this point. It's if your teacher usually predicted 7s for a lot of her students, right? And they didn't end up doing really well in the exams, because of the past students, it affected yours last year. No, but
her last...
Because they had to look at before, the trends from before.
Her last class did
so they
great. One of the dudes, who I'm friends with, he graded some of my papers. He got a 7 in the course.
Oh, well, fuck, I'm out of explanations.
I don't know what I think, the only thing I can figure out is, it may have been my IA. Because my business IA was rough.
Yeah, probably. Because my math IA was shit. And I got a 6 for math. So. Yeah,
so I don't know. But they gave me a 7 in physics. Because my physics IA got a 7.
Okay, that's a big flex.
No, but
that's probably a big flex.
All right, quick little intermission because the episode is extremely long. You've already listened to over 40 minutes of it. We'd like to shout out our sponsor. First sponsor of the day is my left foot for carrying all the weight, seeing as my right foot is extremely weak and fragile. We'd also like to thank all of the listeners who come back and listen to this thing. It's barely 40 of you, so thank you all for listening to this. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsor. Yeah, no, there is no third sponsor. Anyway, back to the episode. So, yeah, IB elitism. That is where we ended off. IB elitism. And, yeah, trying to start back up.
Yeah.
After having that long of a cut is weird.
Yeah, it is because it's not the same vibe as when you cut it off.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, I think also the IB was kind of like a different world.
How so?
You felt like, didn't you feel like you were cut off from the rest of the world? I feel like I was. Like it just, like nothing else existed. Like it was just the internet.